Well, as Caitlin mentioned, at some point today, that jury selection process will get underway. That process of identifying those who can look at this evidence in the case, not show their bias. Joining us now is an expert in jury selection, Alan Tuerkheimer. Alan, it's good to have you with us. As we look at how this will play out, there potential jurors are going to be brought in groups of 100. We know it's an extensive questionnaire, some 42 questions initially, but they're also going to be asked initially if they have any conflicts, and separately, whether they feel they can be impartial here. Separating out those two questions was agreed upon this morning. Why is it important to separate those out in this instance?
Well, as the jurors come in, some are just going to be completely candid, and they know they can't be fair. They've made up their mind one way or the other, probably against Trump, given the venue, given it's New York County. And they're going to be able to indicate to the judge, look, I can't be on this case. I have strong feelings. You need somebody who's going to be fair and impartial. And so that's going to be the first step in the process. And then the next step, jurors are going to go around and they're going to feel that they can actually get through the process and be fair and impartial. Then it's going to be up to the judge and the lawyers to decide, after these jurors or potential jurors answer the questions, whether or not they can keep an open mind and be fair and impartial. So there's a lot of procedures built into the process. So you end up with a jury that, in the eyes of justice, is an open-minded jury that's going to give Donald Trump the presumption of innocence and be open to the evidence and keep a fair mind throughout.
Donald Trump has railed against the venue, saying he doesn't feel that he can get a fair trial, can't get a fair jury in Manhattan. Just walk us through this process again. As I said, they'll be brought in groups of 100. I believe about 500 people every day are called to come in for jury duty. Is there any reason to believe that amongst the hundreds of people who will be coming in every day as potential jurors, that you can't find 12 or actually 18 with 6 alternates who can look at this and look at the information fairly?
I think they'll be able to do that because, if you think about it, you don't select the jury. It's not as if each side gets to say, okay, I want these jurors, and the other side says, I want these jurors. You get rid of jurors. You strike jurors. So if one side thinks that there's going to be a juror that is too biased, they'll exercise a strike. Now, the judge might even get involved and say, yes, I'm going to dismiss this juror because they're too impartial and they have bias one way or the other. So good news for Donald Trump is, yes, a good proportion of the venue does not like him, but these are New Yorkers, and New Yorkers are known for speaking their mind. So as it goes through the process, and it's a little counterintuitive, but every time a juror says something negative about Donald Trump, or they can't be fair and impartial, or they've known him since the 80s living in New York, and there are a lot of things that they find despicable, they're actually doing Trump a favor because that juror is not going to end up on the jury. So that's the goal, and that's how the process is going to play out over the next few days.
As we're watching this play out, the expectation is 1 to 2 weeks to get this jury seated. What do you think will be some of the most important questions or lines of questioning?
Well, certainly the jurors are going to talk about their perceptions of Donald Trump, and that's going to be an immediate window. But I also think that how people view the criminal justice system, because there's a whole range of attitudes. And most people, I would think that it's completely different than the political world or the media world, where this is a process, it's a sacred process where the truth matters. You go under oath. And as you were reporting earlier, there are all these procedures that get argued ahead of time, and it's a process. Whereas on the other hand, some people might just think that this is another institution that is corrupt, it's bloated, it's inefficient, and that these charges aren't fair. So I think the lawyers are going to spend a good deal of time trying to get at jurors' attitudes about the criminal justice system in general.
Alan Tuerkheimer, great to have your expertise. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.